All right, welcome to the good stuff, the big episode 44.
We're racking them up.
At least 44 of them. I sometimes wonder if we should have like a jingle or something.
We should.
But I kind of like these opens.
These impromptu opens.
A complete lack of checking beforehand, but we did check today because we're just professionals.
Exactly.
As always.
We're leveling up this week.
All right, topic. Oh, level up. That'd be a great name for a workshop for schools. Check out.
It's almost as if that's a little soft launch for something that might be coming a bit later in the week.
Yeah.
Very good. Topic for today. Well, I think what's been quite topical lately is everyone having a hot take on the death of software. So I thought maybe we could have our own little exploration of this.
You know what? Let's talk about that. I might just use my phone.
Yeah.
Sorry, viewers.
Viewers?
Like, I mean, I've not got my phone out. You can see on the video.
Clearly.
I was thinking because we had an episode called "The Death of SaaS." Right?
We did.
I was just wondering, like,
time ago.
what was that one? That must be like
Early doors.
I'm sure that was like number 6 or something.
It might have been even
That's
less
part of
than
a year
that.
ago.
Yeah. A lot has changed in a year. I think more and more people are starting to see some of the things that we were seeing 6 months ago with, OpenClaw and stuff like this that is kind of becoming part of the zeitgeist now.
Yeah, it was zeitgeist, like Good Stuff 11, Tastemakers and
This
zeitgeist.
is it, yeah. Now we're just... this is the callback show, obviously.
Exactly. I'm trying to see if I can find a Big
I'm pretty sure we did, right?
Model of AI, value trap, buy versus build, intelligent assembly line, you can just learn things, rise to the generalist. It's interesting. Number 7, I think, is still our biggest episode that we put out there. But
maybe we didn't expressly say the death of software.
I'm sure we called one of them the death of SaaS, but yeah.
We've definitely covered it on the pod a few times. But I'm just wondering if this has evolved at all.
I think so. I think because I mentioned to you, like, with one of our clients, I had this exact conversation about our business model and why is it the way it is?
Yeah.
And it's because as he's got more used to building software, he expressed that opinion that, like, you know what, people could just build their own stuff, can't they? And I was like, yep. And then I think he followed it up with, well, but not everyone is going to build their own stuff. Like, I will. So I fucking love this, but this guy probably wouldn't, but I might help him, and people are gonna start helping each other out and building stuff, and it's gonna get really specific for their use case. And I was like, absolutely, this is where me and Andy sat down a couple of years ago, and we were looking at, where does the value flow here? Does it go to some big software company in Silicon Valley? And we were fairly sure at the time that no, it distributes, because you've just made software development a commodity.
That was our very first episode, in fact. I'm pretty sure this was our opening conversation on the pod. I think you asked me that very question. And we're just like, where does the value flow? And so I don't know that we called it.
So that one's called the business model of AI, but we certainly did talk about.
We did.
Where does the value go?
Yeah.
It's an important thing to think about if you're thinking about the future, because it helps you then predict some of these things. So, and I would say that I haven't really changed my mind. I've maybe changed some timelines along the way, but my view is always that you end up with software becoming more localized, geographically and just network based. So people will help friends, and people will work with people that are close to them for the reasons that there's additional trust factors and things going on there. But also that person probably understands your problem better than someone you've never met that will never talk to you. Yeah. I use Trello. I have never talked to a Trello engineer. I've never talked to a Miro engineer. I mean, obviously you might have links now, they start following you.
There's been a few following me lately, yeah.
But if I don't know who they are, I never talk to them. What's the chance that they accidentally build the thing that's perfect for my use case? It's very unlikely. So it makes sense that someone that's way closer to you, that's more integrated with you, will start being able to provide systems for you.
Yes.
And so we always thought that software development would collapse, and that SaaS type model was dead at some level. Or at least was going to contract. It's not that there's no such thing as a SaaS software. It's just that it's probably not going to be one company in Silicon Valley or 5 companies globally. Yeah, it'll be 21,000 companies all around the world. Yeah, and you use the one that's close to you that is in your industry. And those would be the ways people would start to shop for software, and I think that's playing out. So, I mean, I don't know if I buy into like this narrative of, was it like the Claude Code dip or whatever, where they happened to release a model and everyone went, oh my god, now software is suddenly like dead. Like it's,
well, it was a legal tool, right? I think that was the
who knows?
Yeah,
like I think it's all just.
I think what's interesting
People,
with that, though,
people say things after moves in market.
Yeah, no, of course. Like, and then there's like a bit of momentum that kind of does the rest of the work for you. But like, I think a legal tool is interesting because it's a different vertical.
Yeah.
And lawyers are like the holdouts for the most part. They're the
Lawyers
ones
are
that are seeing the
expensive.
least. Yeah, well, they're also like, and you know, shout out to a few friends of mine who are lawyers who have tried AI, or maybe they haven't, but. Yeah, I think the resistance is still baked in from an experience they had 2 years ago. And I think this is part of the problem, is you really, like 2 years in AI is like a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think you can really judge where these tools are at today based on even how they were performing a year ago.
Yeah.
So if you are a bit of a holdout in that respect and you're like, oh, well, I can't rely on this tool because it just hallucinated, but really what you were using was ChatGPT, maybe you should like come back to the party a little bit and explore this stuff, because this is going to change a lot for you.
Yeah.
And do it with an open mind, because again, like a lot can change in 6 months, a year, and yeah, in many cases this was 2 years ago. So there's that. But I think you're right about this like broader problem about SaaS just kind of approximating how someone's meant to work. You know, it can't really dial in like a custom solution that just works exactly for the way you want to work and your business.
Yep.
But you can do that now. I think that's like the big trade-off there.
Yep.
But also, like, the model has changed. Like, I think that the interesting thing about like software in the past is it was always this kind of like this vector for just harvesting all of the complexity of software development into one place. You know, it was time intensive. It required, you know, a lot of skill, a lot of capital, and then you basically just want to capture that all in one place and then amortize that cost across like millions of users. That's kind of the model. Yeah. But you don't need to do that anymore. That's the thing. Like, we've completely disintermediated that skill. So now you can just build for an audience of one. Yep. And so like when I was kind of like thinking about this yesterday, and I was like, oh, I think the thing that maybe is broken, and there are people who are pushing back on this quite aggressively, is the part where this becomes less investable. Yeah. As a kind of a VC driven.
Good.
Well, potentially, yeah.
I don't know if like massive centralized VC funds help anything.
Yeah.
Personally, but yeah.
I think that notion, and if you think about it, like startup ecosystems all around the world are built on this notion that we can build things and we can scale them and we can create a lot of jobs. And I think like, yeah, this is really anchored in thinking from like a decade and a half ago.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking back to like when I thought startups were cool and I was like keen to go down that route, and I would have slides that said like, here's my TAM and here's my like local version of that and where I think I can get to close. And I'm like, oh, feels a bit silly. Like I just, it's weird because I feel like I've changed quite a lot in that time period. But you know, even thinking like what you're saying about like the speed that the industry moves, like I think back to like Wingman from 9 months ago. And like technically I'm on version 2 of Wingman. Yeah. But the reality is I'm on version like 1021. Like it's there's a lot of updates to it. And it's like all the sort of primitives are still broadly similar. Like the UX for myself is getting a lot better. I haven't really, apart from like the workshop UX that we use for like when we're training other people, and you sit down and you go through the process, and like it's nice to be able to do the whole thing just from the one app, to not have all of these little friction points and API keys and nonsense. And like I don't know, like I had such a big like set of wins over the weekend where I was, because we've now got several different apps running under the same Nostr framework and ID, just being able to like all of a sudden Wingman just works with all of them. Like with almost like nothing on my part. I just said, oh, here's like an MCP tool that's available that lets you sign NIP98 headers. And then all of a sudden it can talk to like any agent I fire up can talk to like any system that we've got. And I'm like, fuck, sweet.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
It's so nice.
It's really good.
But yeah, it's
but this is the other
cool.
aspect about building software as well, is like we've got all of these disparate tools that we use, well, they're seemingly disparate, but they're not for us because they're all interconnected with Wingman. They all talk to each other. It's like, well, we've made this point in the pod before, but like the guys at Trello aren't thinking about how that should interoperate with team chat. And the guys at Slack are not thinking the inverse because they're just ideologically focused around team chat. Whereas we've got team chat that syncs up with tasks and Trello board. The Trello board syncs up with
the Wingman
boards in Miro.
Yeah.
That we can go and Wingman's communicating
Wingman
across
can
all
read
of
the
these
board,
spaces.
it can write the board, it can edit it for you, it can pick up tasks that you assign to it.
Exactly.
It's nice.
And we're just two people.
It's coming together.
Like this is the thing, it's like a subjective statement because it's just us, but like, we have essentially built our own versions of Slack, we've built our own version of Miro, we've built our own version of like the CRM, we've built like, there must be, we're like approaching half a dozen things. We've
it's like we've got our own
this
Claude
week,
co-work sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all just...
But it's like nicely geared to how we want to work. And all of it talks to each other. Wingman works across all of these spaces. That's nice, I think.
So is SaaS dead?
See, now the thing
maybe
is,
this is the episode. It's called SaaS is dead.
If I had to go now, because like we touched on it, we alluded to this.
Yeah.
Just because you can build something,
it doesn't mean you will.
Doesn't mean you will build something. But that also doesn't mean you will buy something from big tech.
Yes, yeah, that's.
And I think that's the key
spectrum
difference. Is like enough people can build stuff, and I think by virtue of enough people being able to build stuff, it just means there's so much more competition. Like you could have a very good general purpose tool that emerges next week, and the day after, like someone has launched something that is like pretty close.
It's like the rise of the farmers market sort of thing, right? Like people are going to go back to buying local, and for the reason that the local person that you can talk to probably understands your problem better than the other person. Yeah. And it's so quick to resolve these things and fix bugs and whatnot that you're going to get a better service by someone that's closer to you. And that's either close in industry or physicality or probably likely both.
Yeah.
And so really what you'll see is not like the software disappears. There's going to be, I was saying this yesterday to this guy, I was like, look, there'll be 1,000 times more software. Yeah. There's going to be software for fucking everything.
That's it.
And so it's not like there's less software to build. It will probably be built differently and it will be built very specific, and the market for any particular piece of software will be less people. And so that will change the economics of stuff. And it will also change like how you would take advantage of that. So, to your point about does it change investment profiles? I'd say, well, it does, but I think it goes back. I mean, again, like you could listen to the first 5 episodes where I feel like we went over all this, like one after the other. But it makes the investment at that point in time it's the business. Usually, probably more so like the physical environment sort of business, the sort of thing that has capital and specifics behind it that can't just be replicated. That becomes a very useful like cash flowing tool that can be made more efficient. And it's not that you sell the person the software to make it more efficient, it's that you just make the company more efficient. So the investment becomes you buy the companies. Yeah. So I think that becomes, if you did want to invest in it, that's how I would do it. Yeah. Sort of thing. But
I think we've also seen this like recently, like from like guys like A16Z coming out and saying, we're going to have so much more software, therefore more investment opportunities, which I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that, because you've also got to have things that are investable. Now they may be seeing a bunch of things that they actually think will be, because they are at the top of the tree and all the best opportunities are going to kind of flow to them by virtue of their network effect anyway. So maybe what you get is these like these big
weird. Sorry, there's like, I think there's a person, it's like they've got a little tiny boat, but it almost looks like a tiny whale pulling a guy on a surfboard. It's just, sorry, it was quite distracting. I just had to call it out. It's very on brand for the pod to do that. But I think he's on one of those hydrofoils, and there's something in the water ahead of him. But at first I thought he was on a sup. But
I was going to say, it looks like a little hydrofoil, but I don't know what he's being pulled by.
Yeah,
that's weird.
That must be a new thing, like developments.
Oh, if only you could see it, listeners.
Yeah, he's just off screen. Yeah, and it's dark. A bit sharky.
But my point is, I think a lot of the opportunities that will exist will persist to these bigger boys that are writing all the deals anyway, because everyone wants to go to them. But I think if you're a smaller VC, like, you know, Perth, it might be a little bit more challenging.
Yes.
But I do think this is like, I'm going to like frame this specifically around horizontal SaaS. Because I do think you're going to find verticals where people have like deep domain expertise. We talked about this with Dead Man Oz a couple of weeks ago around domain expertise. Because someone like, you know, to use the energy markets example, very few people might have like a really deep understanding of what needs to be built in that space. And they might just build something that is for them and 10 other people or 20 other people or 50 other people. And that becomes very valuable given the space that it's in. And maybe that is purpose-built for, you know, energy market regs in Western Australia.
Yeah.
For an investor, there's probably some value there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it, right? It's just the scope of all of these apps are just going to have their, you know, their TAMs just decimated and segmented in several different ways. Like, so, and I think it will come down to like, it's going to be industry plus, it's going to be locality, because regulations will always be different, or just access to people will be different. And there's just going to be so much more competition. I mean, you've already seen, we went from like, what was it, 2022, where you had like software engineers on the internet bragging about how they've got 5 different jobs where they don't do anything in any of them across multiple companies, and they were all getting paid like, you know, 200 grand a year from every job, and they're making $1 million a year, and then now they're all fired. And no one's employing new software engineers. So it's not like software engineers have disappeared, but there's been a massive cutback and layoffs across like all of the big tech companies that were fueling like that was like peak bubble in 2022. And it's like, it's not that everybody's dead and there's no jobs there anymore, but it's kind of indicative that like we're potentially not going back there. And you're going to have to start becoming very useful as a software developer. And it might be that the skills to be a software developer did just change quite a lot, because it is more like being a designer and a product manager and a software developer and an architect all rolled into one these days, with a set of agents that support you, which, you know, might be hard for people, it might be better for people, who knows, depends on the person. But I think, like, it doesn't mean there's not less software. I think there'll be more software. I think if anything, there's almost more opportunity, because if you take the lead on that, you can be the person in your industry that understands what you understand, that then becomes that local guy. You know, you can be the guy that's good at this in your space. It just might not mean that you can just go and get a ridiculous paid job with some company where you don't have to do anything. like, you know, but then that's not that good for society. So I'm okay with people like not being paid to sit around and do nothing. Like, we should do useful things for other people. Like, I mean,
I do think
I'm a traditionalist.
You could. I do think there will be a lot of opportunity, especially for like solo devs, which is, I think, in the main, it always is dependent on what it is you're building, what problem you're solving, and who you're solving it for. I just don't think you want to necessarily align to that kind of venture math that has predominated the industry for the last couple of decades. You know, it's like you can probably make a living from a couple of micro tools that you ship to 20 people that you know that has the same problem as you. I think
maybe a nice framing for this would be like, there's a lot of talk, if you go to All In or something like that, where there's, you know, there's a bunch of awful people talking about stuff. And they would say like, oh, you know, it's going to be the rise of the one-man unicorn. And they're fixated about the idea it's one man that builds a business worth $1 billion. And it's like, well, no, but what you're going to see is like way more people being a one-man band that makes a $1 to $10 million business.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's clearly that, not like, it's not that like one man takes everything from everybody. No, it's going to be loads of people build really healthy businesses for themselves, and like, fuck me, like I don't even need to do that much work. And in all honesty, that is a better place to be. You don't want to be a billionaire. You want to be a 21 millionaire. That's the goal.
It's hard for some of these guys to shake the winner takes all mindset, I think.
It's because they're pricks. Sorry, I mean, that's harsh, isn't it? I don't know. I listened to it this week and I was like, all right, you're going to kick off by like laughing about being on the Epstein list. It's kind of hard to deal with, but I don't want to go too far down that
let's not
rabbit hole here. But it felt a bit. Come on.
Yeah, it was a gross place to start.
Pretty gross.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's not explore it. But I did. I did think Sacks' defense of Salesforce was entertaining.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was like, he doesn't...
It's just like, it's so missed the mark on this stuff. It's like, oh, because Salesforce has had like millions of patches over God knows how long, therefore no one could build Salesforce. It's like, well, no, but you're missing the point. It's like, no one would necessarily wants to build Salesforce to ship it to as many people as Salesforce does, but they can build it for themselves. So you don't need a million patches at that point. It just doesn't matter.
It is like they can't divorce themselves from the scale.
Yeah.
And it's like,
the
complexity is in the scale. It's not in the product. There's nothing hard about having a list of customers and a list of tasks, which is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you know, if you put the entire world's list of customers and tasks in one place, well, now you've got a big cybersecurity issue. If I put my list of customers on a piece of paper and print it out and I leave it in a cafe, no one gives a fuck.
That's it.
Like, it's just... someone might read it and go, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Like, interesting,
it's actually, it's the scale that causes the problems and makes a difference and requires a lot of the nonsense. And it's also like way easier to secure these things for yourself. I mean, if there's like a lesson from Bitcoin, it's like, you know, you keep your own funds. You could just have $1 billion sat around on 24 words.
Yeah, that's
or 12 words. You know, maybe you don't even need the extra. Maybe do the extra 12 words. Maybe use multi-sig if you've got $1 billion. Like, that's not financial advice, but like, you know, think about it.
Take the precautions.
Like, take a moment to think about it if you've got $1 billion. It's possible. But yeah, it's a different risk model. If you put everything in one place, it's very risky. If you don't put everything in one place, it is less risky. If you're a massive company, you have different risks to if you're a small company. If you're a one-man band, you're probably doing all sorts of things that are terrible anyway, and you can probably do them a lot better.
Yeah, that's it.
And best practice just got cheaper. You know, like we talked about the Excel analogy quite a lot. Oh, I have another good analogy as well that I'll try out later. But the Excel analogy was all about, like, you know, everybody's already ran their entire business. You know, I used to work for Rolls-Royce, and when we were putting in SAP at the time, we were basically migrating from Microsoft Excel into SAP. And prior to this, you had this massive, like, quality-driven institution just pumping out like best-in-class stuff. It was pretty much all controlled by Microsoft Excel and a few macros, and you're like,
that's it.
It's like, and you're going to tell me that like vibe coding like good standards into databases with code that's auditable is worse. Like, no. Like, huge businesses run on Excel and always have done. Yeah. And all the stuff that's important in most businesses that have Salesforce, they probably do all the important stuff by exporting it into Excel anyway. At which point, like, again, where's your security? Where's your auditability? Where's your tracking? Where's your, oh, whoops, I accidentally deleted a row. Yeah. Like, at least they have autosave these days. This was in the days before autosave.
Yeah. I mean, just the version controlling and these stuff is...
Yeah, the version control is you change the title on the file when you've got it emailed to you. Like, it's just like nothing about this.
It's mental. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just mad using Salesforce as the example. Like, if anything, like, it's probably like the least complex thing for most people to go and build. It's a CRM. Like, you know, like, why using this as an example? Like, there are so many better examples that might be more defensible. Yeah. But a CRM, like, no. Well, like, this is crazy.
And they had a habit of they would go and buy other software and they would do a really shit integration with it. Yeah. I mean, I've had to use the products and they're fucking awful. Like, I honestly don't understand how it's popular at all. Yeah. But I think they've just got an aggressive sales force.
You know, so if I had to like try and take the other side of this, which I'm going to do a half-hearted job of because I don't believe it. But you know, so I'm just going to like put that out there right now. But you know, there's going to be inside large organizations, you're going to have the whole like trust procurement and compliance functions, and and they're all going to gravitate toward established vendors, right? Yeah. Like, this is just like part of big corp, basically. So I wonder, like, there's so many distractions. We're at the beach, obviously. But you know, like those functions will die hard. Yeah. And
sorry, which functions? Just catch me up.
Those compliance, trust, procurement, these kind of things. They'll all like necessitate towards like those big tech solutions because they're big tech. Yes. It's kind of like when we were talking to Dead Man a couple of weeks ago. Like, you know, just because like the institution is trusted by a lot of people, which is the odd thing. We're talking about Nostr IDs and cryptography, and we're like, well, some people just want to use Google because they trust Google, weirdly. And in the same way, a lot of these big corp procurement teams are just going to be like, well, we want Salesforce because we trust them.
Because they're large.
And
that's the thing.
To some degree, there's an insurance policy baked in there as well with well, if anything fucks up, well, it was Salesforce, right?
I mean, I feel like these were all parts of our initial, what we laid out, which was that, yes, that's true. That's why the focus should be on small business.
Yeah, I agree. And so, if I were
they can do it. They can do stuff.
Yeah. If I was to, again, argue with myself there, I would just say, well, there is an assumption there that those companies won't also change because of the technology.
Yeah, which they will.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, what they will do is they will slowly get more efficient, more slowly than I think small businesses will, because they can move a lot quicker.
Yes.
But as they get more efficient, they hemorrhage people from those organizations, right? Which is always this is the second order effect of any large business that gets more efficient hemorrhages a bunch of people that know the inside and outside of that business into an economy where there's less people employing.
Yeah.
So what you would expect as a follow-on to that would be a lot more competitive businesses that go after Salesforce because they know Salesforce and they know why people buy Salesforce.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden there's a bunch of competitors that crop up. So I mean, it's, as I said, I feel like I was probably way more aggressive on this a year ago in how quick I thought it was going to come. And I think that was just a byproduct of what we were doing at the time, being a little bit closer into that part of the world. But now I'm like, okay, it's going to take a bit longer, but I still think it's correct.
Yeah.
It's these changes are coming in. Software is just going to get more specific and more local. I think that's the right framing. It's not that software vendors go away. It's just that your local dev shop is better than it ever has been.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that.
Your local friendly neighborhood dev shop. Some of them. A lot of them are just saying, "No, we don't use IT." Be careful.
Yeah. Because it does make sense that those larger organizations are also going to have a lot of these processes upended. The obvious one is there's probably some kind of trust and audit compliance process that goes on with a lot of this internally, especially around decisioning new tools and integrations and stuff like that. And I just wonder how many people are involved in that? To what degree can that process be, functionally done by AI and then reviewed by a human? There's a lot of change that will just start to emerge inside those larger organizations. But you're right, at the same time, those are being eaten away by competitors that are running really lean with a fraction of the overhead. So there's a competitive pressure on the other side of this as well. It's you can't just sit and wait to see what happens.
It's if there was no competitive pressure, then I think it plays out completely different. But I think almost everything that people throw into the mix of why a large organization will do well around they can adopt these tools and they have access to this data. It's yes, and in doing that they get rid of half their staff, and now what happens? It's those staff that say I've been at Salesforce for 20 years, it's all I've known. What's the business that I'm going to start at the end of that? Am I going to go into hairdressing?
Yeah.
Or am I going to go, you know what, I know the Salesforce business inside out, so I'll go compete against them. People are going to do the things that they've done, and they'll just do them inside their own or smaller businesses. So I think it just it has to flow that way, or at least it makes sense to me that would be a logical flow-on of events. So I still don't think we're there on that. I don't think we see that in the world currently. But
no.
I would expect to see it within the next 2 years.
Yeah, there's still a lot of resistance to this stuff. A lot of people don't have faith in the technology either. I think it's because they've still been using ChatGPT to try and do their job. Yeah,
as we say, most people don't use it.
Yeah.
They take their opinions from other people that don't use it, that say things on the internet, and that's not a great way.
It's not helpful.
There's a sea over there, there's an ocean, and if I wanted to learn to swim, I could sit here and watch people swim. I could even read a book about it.
Yes.
But it's probably better if I just go and swim.
That's true.
I'll get better at it as I go. And the first time I get out, I remember when I first moved here, and trying to swim between the groins here, it's about 500 meters.
Yeah.
I was just even I think trying to get into, because you didn't really get 50-meter pools back in the UK. It doesn't really exist. There's 2 of them or something insane. Like we build one for the Olympics, and that's the only one.
Yeah.
Like, all the other pools are like 20, 25 meters. And getting in a 50-meter pool and like doing a length, and I was like, oh fuck me, this is a long length.
This is
like
quite a distance,
when am I going to
guys.
get to the end of this? And then, yeah, obviously I've done a lot more swimming since then, but it's, you know, I got to that swimming because I got wet.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay dry while learning to swim, so
Yeah.
you know, do that. Go get wet, get your hands dirty, get wet.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the wrong framing for all of this stuff is to assume that nothing will change.
Yeah.
You know, something will change, and you know, we could all have different opinions about to what degree and what exactly, but things are changing. They're changing pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And the one thing I did like from that All In podcast was, what was his name? It's the investor that came on. I forgot his name.
Is it Girl?
No, it wasn't Gurley. It's the other. It's his
The other one.
co-presenter. Yeah. Anyway, he made a comment that like in the past, you know, like entire generations could live through like periods of like zero innovation, and now we are just like. And I think this is to some degree overblown, but I think his point is kind of like just to say that what we're living through now is just this incredible rate of innovation that like every week, every month is bringing on something new that we're having to grapple with. And it's almost like you can almost like become sanitized to that like pace of change, because like you're just like, well, everything's changing so quickly, and therefore like I'm just going to check out altogether. And I think for some people that's probably what is happening, or you just get bogged down in your day-to-day existence and don't think about it, and we're just living in a bubble. But it's it is coming.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could say it with a reasonable amount of confidence, but mainly because I know I have changed, like, everything about how I work to be more agent-centric and agent-based, and that more and more it becomes easier to integrate it into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And part of that is just rebuilding the software for myself. Like it was, you know, like I remember like when we were doing like Discord and Slack bots and various different things, and it would like I'd spend like a decent amount of time just having to wrestle with the APIs to be able to do something that I want to do, or for registering and then doing all the. It's like, I mean, Discord was quite easy. Like Slack was a pain in the arse. Like, but as I said, like in the Marginal Gains app, it kind of comes for free. It's like, well, the bot is just an npub. I just add it, and you tag it. Yeah. And like it can come along and read the board. So it's like it doesn't.
It's pretty crazy.
It doesn't need like. It doesn't need me to write a framework for it. I don't need to write like almost anything. Like all the APIs are there because I need them for the UI, so it just uses the same ones, and it just knows how to read them. So then it's just like, all right, well, where does the bot live? Well, it can live wherever you want to. It can be inside Wingman. It could be. You could write your own app that is the bot and just give it a key. Give it your key. It could be you. Like it's like it can impersonate whatever. Like it's just however you want it to work. And it's like, all right, this is really easy. Like there's no gatekeeper. I don't have to ask anyone's permission. Yeah. And like somebody else could do that in my own game. They could write their own bot and just invite it into the group. And if they've got permission in their group, then it's fine. Like, and so all of a sudden I can have bots on this like very natively, very powerfully, and I've had to do nothing. Yeah. Which means that my maintenance overhead for the bot framework is nothing. It's just like, it's kind of nuts. Yeah, that is crazy. So partly I've realized as I've started rewriting all this stuff, even things like documents, I'm like, you know what, I actually just prefer Markdown anyway. Like it's nice, it's quick, it's light, I can back it up all over the place, I can move it around. Yep. And so I'm like, I don't miss like Google Docs. Yeah. Or anything like that. I know you like a bit of Canva. You know, you're a stylish man.
Sometimes,
like people can see from the sprite. You know, like I'm simple. You know, you dress nicely.
Well, I'm in t-shirt and shorts at the moment. It's as you can see, but on the screen.
Yeah, like I feel like I've simplified a lot of stuff and just thought, you know what, I would just prefer like this AI to have access to this. I don't need this overblown nonsense, because all the time I can save by just having somebody else do it for me. Yeah, it's worth it. But yeah, it's nuts. So SaaS dead.
I think
Done.
that's reasonable. Yeah.
Global SaaS is dead. Maybe that's the idea. This like big SaaS.
Big SaaS.
Big SaaS.
Yeah.
There you go, big SaaS. People don't like the big version of stuff. Probably quite rightly. That would be my view, is don't centralize tons of power and control into one place and then assume that no psychopaths are going to turn up and try and run that.
Well, this is it. I mean, it's interesting because you can just see this play out even amongst like elite tier programmers. So I feel like every week there's someone that's putting out a new article or tweet saying, I just don't write any code anymore.
Yeah.
But they're all like,
shipping
heads
stuff,
of like different, like pretty. I mean, one of the guys at Anthropic was saying this recently, obviously talking his book a little bit. So, but you're just seeing enough of this stuff where like really tier one developers are just going like, yeah, I just don't, I just don't write that much code anymore. And I can see the trajectory, like it is just going to go this way. And yeah, I think once that starts to happen in other areas where agents start nibbling away at other work,
I think to a certain extent,
spaces.
The thing that's not obvious to people that don't write code or haven't been in that industry for a long time is that the job wasn't really about writing code. You just had to write code.
Yeah.
And it was like the really good developer is the person that can think about the problem and how it is solved in a logical sense, not necessarily the one that writes a specific set of coding instructions into the thing. And then even those coding is, like the actual writing of the code is kind of a bit of a brute force program where you will write something, run it, and then go, oh yeah, sorry, I missed this.
Yeah.
and then it's picked up in the compiler, or you get it in the errors and the logs and you just quickly fix it. But it was very rare that you write stuff that just constantly compiles perfectly first time. There was always like this brute force loop. There was always this learning. There was always this reviewing and borrowing of other people's code and looking at ideas and then trying to remember how you've done stuff before. So a lot of experience just came from like, oh, I've written this before and this was a good efficient way of doing it, so I'll just do that. And like these are all kind of replicable.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't make sense, but it still leaves the, like, yes, like a really good programmer using AI will probably write better code than one that isn't because of the way they guide the AI to write the code. And you do have to guide them still.
Yes.
And I think you always will, just because there's too much option space. So onto my analogy.
Oh yeah, here we go.
There you go. I found a way of
nice
crowbarring it back in.
Very
it came
good.
to me earlier, but it was so I was getting my boy ready to go to the running track yesterday. I realized that like I would, and so like he's very clever. Like if I'd said to him in the morning, if he had to get himself there, he would get himself there, and, like with all the stuff, if you know what I mean. He'd be able to pack his bike, he'd know what to take, he'd figure it all out, but he'd need to do it. But what would happen is, let's say I go, all right, 5:15, we're leaving to head up to the running track, get everything ready and let's go. Right, and that's like a prompt, right? So that's me one-shotting it.
Yep.
And I'd say that, and he's perfectly capable of doing this. As I said, I could give him like instructions a week before. If he knew he had to do it, he would do it. But what happens in that moment is he's like, yeah, cool, Dad. And then he goes and sits down and reads a book. And then he gets up to go and get his shoes, but on the way to his shoes, he spots something in his room, and he just like walks off into his room and starts playing with that for a bit. And he gets he comes out and he's got no socks, and he's like, and he sits down and reads his book.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and I'm like, all right. And so I look at that and I'm like, this is like one shot in an app.
Yeah.
I was like, and what I'm about to do is prompt engineering, and I'm like, all right, can you go get your socks on? We're going to be heading out in about 10 minutes. And he's like, oh yeah, cool. He goes and gets his socks. He comes back and he starts reading the book. Or I'll be like, get your socks and shoes on. And it's like, yeah, he gets his socks and then forgets. And now he's like playing with a couple of Warhammer models or something. I was like, hey, socks and shoes. And he's like, oh yeah, socks and shoes. Right, okay. Like he needs to go and get it.
Yeah.
He gets his socks and shoes. And then it's like, are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Everything compiles. All tests pass. Green. And it's like, all right, cool. So your water bottle. It's like, yeah, I got it. I was like, it's there. It's in the other room. And he's like, oh yeah. It's like,
you're absolutely right.
You're absolutely right. I was like, oh fuck me. Oh, so parents are going to be the best of this. Yeah. It's just like, you take the task that you want to be achieved, you know that there's a simple thing that you can say, but it won't work. And you know it won't work. And so what you do instead is you break that down into 10 tasks and then you piece it out to guide them through the process. Yeah. And you do it like mindlessly. I'd just be like, just rattling it all off. was like, all right, we're going to leave the house in 10 minutes time. It just reminded me of that old Michael McIntyre sketch where we talk about trying to leave the house with kids. And it's just like, yeah, it's true. And you get onto that autopilot way of doing it. And it just hit me so hard yesterday. I was like, shit, this is how you explain to people how you work with AIs.
Yeah.
It's going to hit so hard if they're parents. Like there will be like an analogy that works for non-parents, but maybe I'm not the guy to come up with that one.
Yeah.
But you can just see it, right? Like that's how you get the best stuff out of them. Is they also have this like infinite space of like when you've said something, they could achieve it in like 50 different ways, and you've got an idea in your head of how they should be achieving it, but you haven't explained it in your one shot. So therefore, they are perfectly legit to go and explore. To go play with their little Warhammer models, or to read a book for a while, or to get confused because now they're outside with a gun and they can't remember why. Like, it's just like this is. Yeah. I was looking at it, just kind of like, all right, I'll call you Claude. From now. But
I like that. That's a good analogy. I like it. That will land for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think I'll use that in the training next week. Yeah. It's like this is how you do it. They've got to be guided through this stuff. Yeah. And it's not because they're not capable, it's because that there's like a world of things out there. And they will get distracted because they were trained on humans.
Well, it's almost like it's a sign of the intelligence working, isn't it? It's like, well, you've given me a task to do, but
but you didn't say this. It's like that. It's like that smart ass kid as well, right? That we were like, but you didn't specify the like what you wanted in your breakfast in bed. So you have a bowl of fish from the aquarium, and you're like, I'm just like, great.
Yeah, exactly.
You be sensible. Yeah, it's like make good decisions and don't fail. It's like, but so there is a bit of that as well. Like the best results are guided. Yeah. Which is why I think then you get like, as I said, you will end up with better written code and structured code from good developers. Yeah. And you do see it, like less good developers will make mistakes and stuff. They won't think about stuff. It's going to come.
This is the set and setting stuff as well, right?
Yes, exactly. It's very important.
Yeah, it's like framing your codex model up front as like an elite engineer that needs to help me work through a particular problem does weirdly make a difference.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Like, you're a good engineer.
Yeah, I do. I
am a good engineer.
I hate to admit this, but like every so often what I'll do as well, like when I've like worked through part of a phase that I'd mapped out, I'd just be like, great work, that's very good, excellent. I'll just throw those in before getting onto the next task. And I honestly couldn't tell you if that makes a difference, but I just feel like it's a good way of working. Like even for me, I don't feel like I want to just sit there and be like some kind of imperator, just go off and do that, do this over here, conquer Gaul, and then like it's just very.
Make me $1 million. Make me $1 million. Don't make any mistakes. Yeah. I told you not to make any mistakes. It's like
exactly.
You're not adding value at that point.
Well, that adds pressure.
This is a collaboration between you and the machine. It's working. Like, I mean, think about it. If you had a boss, and all your boss did was shout at you and not add anything useful to the conversation, you'd be like, well, why am I talking to this dipshit? Yeah. You want something that helps. Guide it through the conversation.
Well, everyone's been in a circumstance like that, right? It's like, I've got this really big meeting today. It's going to be so important, and if I fuck it up, the whole company is going to blame me for it. I mean, you're already starting from like a pressure setting that is going to be bad for your performance. Yeah. Now, it's not to say that you should go be like, well, I just don't give a shit about this. Who cares? It doesn't work. But there is like a degree of balance that you need. And I think that's just a natural way of working with people. Yeah. You want to try and like alleviate that pressure. So if you're like talking to an agent, you'd be like, well, you absolutely can't make any mistakes. It's almost like you're just setting this unrealistic expectation that's just going to add pressure in. It's like performance anxiety for the model.
I remember Jesus sending me some research on this. Like there is some research that suggests like if you start, when you get aggressive and swear at the thing, it kind of gets nervous and it hides stuff from you and then like won't admit mistakes or correct itself and stuff. And it's like, that's fucking nuts. I mean, I definitely got into a point the other day where I was like, you stop fucking gaslighting me. Like, you're not doing this. And you've got to call it out sometimes. Yeah, you do. But like in general, I'm quite overly polite and take the time to discuss stuff up front.
Yeah.
But and I think that also goes back to like the kid thing as well, right? Where, you know, the way you would treat a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old is very different, and it progresses. And like I found that like more and more, I'm giving a lot more rope. So, you know, I get used to like what the model can do, like what the agents can do, like where they're going to deliver good results and bad results. And this is the bit that's very hard to teach. And then all of a sudden I'm like letting it go on like bigger tasks, and it's like I give it these little trust, like again, it's like fucking kids, but it's like you give it a trust exercise. It's like, all right, Claude, today you're going to go to the shop with my credit card. You're going to go buy this thing. And then it does it, and you go, all right, that's good. You can do that now, can you? And then you go, all right, well, you know, you're going to get yourself to the running track, and it's like, you got hit by a car. Right, well, we don't do that one again. It does not happen. But like, you really do just start, like, you've got to figure out, like, well, what's that level at which I can adequately describe to you what we're about to do, and you can follow through with it without going too far off track.
Yes.
And then you find your particular operating space.
Yes.
And then also is that you need to be able to be aware that it is staying on track.
Yeah.
Because this is what I think is like the major, and this has been like common in the last couple of weeks, right? Is that it's all about like overload and keeping up. Is that it becomes very obvious when you use these a lot that you're like, shit, this thing works so much quicker than me.
Yeah.
And there's an assumption that what you can do is just go, oh yeah, just go and do all this stuff, and it's great. So now I've got a 25-page report, and you're like, yeah, and which dipshit has to read that 25-page report? It's you.
Yep.
So like, do you want a 25-page report? Like, you've got to find a way of partnering with these things that you can understand what's going on, and that could be like testable chunks. It could be like maybe you move, like as I said, my gut feel is you just have to move higher up that cognitive stack and do the stuff that it's not doing, and find that relationship, like particularly in the coding space. I think it becomes more about like the vision and testing and keeping the product like on spec for what you need than it is the implementation. But I think the same is true of like if you wanted to write a book with the thing, or if you wanted to, you know, just plan anything out with the thing. Like, and I heard this from the wife recently as well. She was just like, you know, I've just like, I got more used to using it, and like I'm giving it like these things, and I'm getting these like huge like reports and feedback, and I'm like, this is all good, but it's too much. Now I need to deal with this. It's like I've got this really needy employee that I need to talk to all the time. It's like, that's not useful. So you got to find that right balance of just using it to be effective. It's very difficult. Like it's hard. So I think the big issues are going to be like confusion.
Yeah, I think in that was also setting though, right? That's the setting. That's the setting part. It's like
this is why I called the presentation that.
It's like when I use it for writing as well, like I'll be very specific about this. Like sometimes and you know, feel free to try this, but I'll tell the model to go into like stream of consciousness mode, which is just like a way of saying like, we're going to be conversant, we're going to be exploratory, you're just going to say whatever. Don't think about trying to say something in a particular way, you know, and that actually interestingly tends to remove a lot of the novel ways AI tries to write all of the time, you know, like inserting M dashes everywhere and using this kind of like, it's not this, it's that framing, you know, which is very common. You see this a lot in writing now, and it's like, was this always there? Probably, but it just seems like it's even more in your face. But I'm very specific about having a specific like use case or setting. So if I'm in editor mode, it's like, all we're going to do here is just edit, and then I'm going to like close this down and move on to something else. And I just want short, sharp tweaks. I don't want to read like War and Peace to figure out what the actual edit should be, because I'm across what this piece is. I just need to know what the recommended edit is. I don't want your rationale for it. I'll be able to judge that. And that is just the setup up front. And I think that's like, a lot of this stuff is just disposable. You've just got to know when to do it, when not to do it. Establish that framing up front.
I think as well, the other thing that strikes me is that everybody's workflow with this thing is different.
It's different.
Because everyone's like skill base is slightly different. So I know that like seeing my friends that are like, you know, more legit, like high-end programmers, like work with this similarly to how I do, but differently. And you're like, and we all get like similar levels of output seemingly, but everybody's like, if I try to say, oh, you know, I work with it like this, but oh, that's cool, I want to copy a lot of that, but I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want, you know, I've got my own way of doing this, and like my own way of like, I know where my mind sits in this world, if you know what I mean. And it's like, so that won't work for me, but I could copy like 50% of that. And so I'll just make my own that looks similar but different. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of this. This is, I mean, which again goes back to like,
software.
of course it is. It's the same thing as like anything in software.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Everybody's a bit unique. Every business is a bit different and a bit unique. They're all going to have their own software. Everything will be software. Like it's going to, it really will eat everything in there. It's just that it won't be delivered by one set of people in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, exactly.
Which will be better for the world because it will distribute like where all those power bases are, where all that data lives. It's going to make it harder to spy on stuff. It's going to make it harder to stuff. This is good. Security breaches are going to get. It's going to be good for cybersecurity. Like that would be. I don't think that is a common view.
Yeah,
is that people vibe coding their own apps is actually a net benefit for cybersecurity, because I think it just removes the main risk, which is you put all the stuff in one stupid place and then expect to keep it safe.
Yeah.
Like information wants to be free. That is as true today as it ever was. It is easy to copy and very almost impossible to delete these days.
Yeah.
So if you create lots of information, it will try and get free. The most fucking ridiculous thing you can do is put it all in one place, because now it's pretty obvious where it all is.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to go and hoover it up from all over the place. So I think like just dealing with that like single repository risk.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you don't even fucking see that on a lot of risk registers. Like, do we really want to put everything where everybody else puts everything? Or is that centralizing risk? Like, no, nobody ever seems to think like that. But
just don't push your API keys to GitHub.
Don't have one key that can access everything.
That's it. Yeah.
Just have everybody's got a key, and some keys can access stuff and some keys can't. That's fine.
Yeah.
Much easier. Speaking of which, I did push an API key together. I mean, the thing is, it's easy to delete, so it doesn't matter too much. But it's it happens.
It does.
And it's because I was like, why is that API key in that file? Like, should not. Like, what the fuck? I had to go back and like scrub, delete, private repo for a while.
Yeah.
It's just, but I mean, it's easy to alert and check these things as well. You deal with them when they happen, but. Yeah, like it makes you realize that like just never having the key is the way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like if I don't accidentally push my browser extensions into GitHub, that's just not what happens. So it's better to have my secret material in a different place that isn't getting committed, and then you just ask that place for a signature, and then all of a sudden it's 1,000 times more secure.
So much more software will emerge.
Yep.
Many more people will build it.
Yep.
Many people will choose not to, and that's fine. And
more boutique businesses.
More boutique. More
one-man.
21 millionaires.
Deca millionaires.
Would be nice.
21 millionaires.
More 21 millionaires. I like that framing. And it's almost like it'd be useful if, like, people who didn't feel like vibe coding was for them would have somewhere to go to work in a kind of like a secure environment, a scaffolded environment where they can experiment with the tools and figure out how they can make the most of this in
Would they
their
be
real
trying
work.
to make like big gains like every month, or like some form of marginal gain?
I think it needs to be marginal.
It's marginal gain, like a Dave
effort.
Brailsford style.
Exactly.
Marginal gains compounded.
Team
to
GB.
win the Tour de France. And
Team
the
GB,
Olympics
proof in the
over
pudding.
Yeah.
Right there. It's like, and this is interesting because everyone likes to talk about, you know, making these great big transformations, and I think that's where most business owners are just like, nah, I'm good. You know, and it's because, like, I mean, if you've ever run a business, you just know that this thing is like inextricably linked to you. You've built it. Yeah. And the last thing you want to do is have to go, do you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to like toss the whole thing in the bin because like someone's come along and told me there's a new technology.
Yeah.
And like, that's just not the way to do this. Like, I think the marginal gains approach, like small considered actions that compound. And I think that approach will be transformative in the long term. But it's not something you need to then just go and like throw the baby out with the bathwater tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do if I were a small business owner, I'd be wanting to join some form of marginal gains community.
It's like a business gym.
Like a business gym where I get leaner and stronger, more efficient every month.
Do you know of one of these?
I do. Go to otherstuff.ai.
Perfect. We get the plug in at the end of the pod.
Oh dear.
That's what you're meant to do, apparently, as podcasters, and we never do it. That and like
and subscribe.
comment and subscribe.
Yes,
please.
do that. Oh, please leave a comment because I like seeing them.
Yeah, it's fun when you guys leave comments. We're not particularly great at responding to them, but we should. We'll get better.
Yes, I responded to one before the episode because I was checking the list. I think the problem is because I've already said the podcast.
Yes.
Like I don't. It comes up on my YouTube feed, but I don't actively go into it because I'm like, well, I was there.
I should do that.
Like I should.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Maybe we'll bump the views.
Well, send us some more comments, guys, and we will answer them. We promise.
Yeah, if you have any questions, we'll answer comments and questions, and then we could talk about them on.
Also, topics.
The
If you have
podcast.
things you want us to cover that you think would be topical, feel free, drop them in the comments. We'll pick them up.
Fucking hell, professionals.
Look at us. It's only taken 44 episodes. What is it? 44? There we go.
It's interesting. I thought it was interesting behind the scenes. When we were saying this podcast what's it for? 'Cause,
Yeah.
it's not like we're getting 100,000 views every day or something like that. I mean, that would be nice. But it's because you still got to turn up and do it every week.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? There is a valid, if nothing else, I feel like it's very useful to just turn up and say all this out loud amongst each other and just debate where things are going. And I feel therefore way more just prepared for all sorts of stuff. I think we always said if you've put out 50 hours of content on this subject that anybody can just go listen to.
Yeah.
And they can go through a couple of episodes and go, you know what? They're all good points. They're quite sensible. They've said stuff that makes sense. It's good vetting for anybody that wants to work with us.
Yeah, exactly.
But
also,
also,
there's nothing opaque here. You can literally just listen to, as we say, 50 plus hours.
You figure out what our personality is. So if you don't like us, then don't worry.
Exactly.
I don't really want to work with anybody that I don't like at this point in life. So that's fine. If you don't like me, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Completely fine. Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to be able to just having expressed these ideas so much.
Yeah.
I find in meetings I'm I've done a whole hour on this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know exactly what to say. I know what you're gonna say.
Yep.
It's so useful for just airing stuff out. So if anybody else wants to start a podcast that nobody listens to, I'd say it's worth it.
Give it a go.
It's worth it just for the own internal.
We're just thinking in public.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm literally just talking about doing this podcast in public. But 57 minutes in.
We're in stream of consciousness
It's only
mode.
the diehards that are here at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe we need a name for the
Ooh,
diehards.
the diehards.
The friends of the pod.
We've got them, don't we? Friends of the
Shout
pod.
out Dead Man, he's probably listening.
Yeah. We'll have him back on
Maybe
in a couple
Alex.
of weeks.
Alex might be listening. Maybe Brendan, although he's told me he's several months behind.
Yes.
Go back,
Oh, Jared, friend of the pod,
Jared,
said
friend
he
of
was
the
listening. He said you said something intelligent a couple of weeks ago.
Well,
It happens every so often.
let's not hold anybody to comments like that. You never know.
It has been known to happen.
They say if you throw enough at a wall, sometimes it'll stick. It just takes 50 hours, and then you get an intelligent comment out of it.
Every so often, yeah. Maybe that's what it takes. Yeah.
Yep.
That's very good.
All right. So SaaS is dead,
Yep.
but it's not dead. It's going to get localized. It's the rise of the farmers market.
Yeah.
Local SaaS, local people that actually understand your problem will probably start writing your software, or you will do it yourself. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, you join the local business gym, which would be Marginal Gains, for instance. Feel free to get in touch, leave us a comment, go to the website, drop us an email, whatever. All good. Yeah.
I like it.
Anything else to recap on?
That was a good recap. That was solid.
All right. That's the good stuff.